A lovely evening to you. I am Ifoma Ojinta. Welcome to Nationwide, live on the network service of the NTA. The Federal Executive Council has formally approved the ratification of the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement signed by Nigeria in July last year. The Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, announced this while briefing journalists after the virtual meeting of the Council presided over by President Muhammadu Buhari. The details of this meeting will be brought to you in our subsequent bulletins. The death has occurred of the former governor of defunct Kaduna State, Malam Abdul Qadir Balarabe Musa. He died Wednesday morning at his residence in Kaduna after a protracted illness. Suleiman Abdullah Rigachuku reports on the life and times of the elder statesman, a politician with a distinct and clear-cut ideology titled
Take political parties and political associations from the machinations of the government in power at every level and the electoral management body at national and state levels.
A farmer and an administrator led Balarabe Musa's sojourn in politics started during the First Republic, where he pitched tent with the defunct Northern Elements Progressive Union, NEPU, as a strong and vibrant member. His posture and struggle against what he considered as infidel and for the emancipation of the Talakawas from northern oligarchy endeared him to the people.
He's a very nice man, very honest, straightforward. I know we are going to miss him a lot.
Balarabe Musa became the first civilian governor of Old Kaduna State on the platform of the defunct People's Redemption Party, PRP, in 1979, and the first civilian governor to be impeached by the state legislature controlled by Opposition National Party of Nigeria, MPN, in 1981. Led Balarabe Musa, synonymous with struggle for justice and fairness, later parted ways with his political mentor, the late Malam Aminu Kanu, which led to the formation of Sans E faction of the PRP. He was a chartered accountant and company secretary of the defunct Broadcasting Company of Northern Nigeria. Led Balarabe Musa was in the forefront in the struggle for the actualization of annulled June 12 presidential election. Before his death, he was chairman, Board of Trustees, People's Redemption Party. Suleiman Abdullah Rigachku, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari joins government and people of Kaduna State in mourning a former civilian governor of the state, Alhaji Balarabe Musa, whose passing will be missed by all Nigerians who have diligently followed his antecedents as a voice for the voiceless. A statement by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, stated that President Buhari believes Alhaji Musa reflected the passion and vigor that heralded Nigeria's independence, which steadily translated into activism for return to democracy at the height of military intervention, and has remained steadfast in the call for good and inclusive governance. President Buhari affirms that Balarabe Musa left a bold footprint on Nigeria's democracy, and his role in promoting good governance and development will always be remembered and appreciated by posterity. He prays Almighty God grant his soul eternal rest and comfort his family, friends, and associates. Meanwhile, the former governor of Kaduna State, late Abdul Qadir Balarabe Musa, was a guest on NTA's program Reflection, where he spoke on the trajectory of his political journey and shared his thoughts on key national issues.
1968, I worked in various places in London. And finally, in 1969, I returned to Nigeria. I went to the Defense Industries Corporation
Kaduna from the Defense Industry Corporation. I went to the Broadcasting Company of Northern Nigeria, the predecessor of the present NTA and Abarasian Kaduna. Then in 1974, I went to the North Central Cooperative Bank. I worked there up to 1975 when I finally left and went into full-time farming, and then, of course, active politics. In those days, it was not party, Malam. They were synonymous. The PRP and Malam were synonymous. That was because of the integrity and the quality of leadership offered by Malam.
Late Balarabe, largely described as an honest man, a nationalist and patriot, had always urged political leaders to make the well-being of the citizens the focus of their policies and programs. He died on Wednesday morning at his residence in Kaduna after a protracted illness. And we'll be hoping to join our correspondent, Major Ma'a Adamu, for an update at the Sultan Bello Mosque in Kaduna, where the Janaiza of the late Malam Balarabe Musa is expected to take place. For now, let's join Hingino in Lagos for more on Nationwide.
Thank you, Ifoma. We begin here with the Army, providing a practical guide on the completion of asset declaration form and ensuring that public servants are conversant with the extant regulations relating to the Code of Conduct was the thrust of a two-day training workshop in Lagos. Awal Yusuf Jibo reports that the event was organized by the Nigerian Army in collaboration with the Code of Conduct Bureau.
The training workshop for the officers and men of the Nigerian Army 81 Division underscored the relevance of assets declaration by public servants in Nigeria. It also formed the basis for enlightening, educating, and sensitizing the rank and file on the Code of Conduct for public officers and the dangers for non-compliance with the code.
This lecture now, once we put them through on their needs, once they have to know constitutional provision regarding asset declaration, it is expected of them to come asking for the form. If they refuse to come to declare their assets, there are steps to be taken. They can be charged. We have Code of Conduct Tribunal that handles that. All we need is just to file their name to them.
Surmounting the hurdle of conflict of interest in asset declaration, Director Reforms Coordinator and Service Improvement Code of Conduct Bureau, Zephaniah Bulus, called for transparency, probity, and accountability by the public servants, adding that it will help in the fight against corruption.
Encourage the men and officers of Nigerian Army to understand that the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria requires that each and every officer declares his asset. This declaration will help control issues of abuse of office and conflict of interest, the discharge of their duties and responsibilities.
Awareness workshop by the Code of Conduct Bureau is expected to be taken to all military formations across the country. In Lagos, Awal Yusuf Jibo, NTA News.
Now, in ensuring effective and efficient policing of lives and property, the AIG Zone 2, Ahmed Ilyasu, has directed officers of the Nigeria Police Force under his command to go back to their respective formations and divisions to rebuild the needed public trust and partnership with their community. He gave the directive at a motivational workshop and community policing for quality service delivery in Lagos. Lynn Leneke has details.
To deepen community engagement in policing and create the much-needed environment devoid of crime and security challenges, critical stakeholders have been advised to partner the police in providing effective and quality service. This is to enable the economy and businesses to blossom. The AIG Zone 2, Ahmed Ilyasu, charged police officers to put the people at the center of policing.
Our policing strategy should be people-centric, satisfactory to the people, and good enough to remove fear and uncertainty in the mind of the people. Anything Anytime they have contact with the police, police must be available and respond to call or request for assistance regardless of status or background.
Guest speaker and security expert Dr. Ona Aihomo, in his analysis of internal security in Lagos and some parts of the country, noted that the police must regain public trust for normalcy to return.
The way the police stations are built, the armories are more or less not defended, and then there was no effective call for service. These are structural problems.
To engender public support and diffuse tension in the quality of policing, ethical values, standards, and strategies in line with the new police reforms must be adopted. In Lagos, Lane Lenake, NTA News.
From here, we now go to Kaduna, where Maijama'a Adamu is standing by to give us an update on the burial of Balarabe Musa.
Okay, we are right now at the Sultan Bello Mosque in Kaduna City, venue for the burial prayers of late Abdul Qadir Balarabe Musa, the former executive governor of Kaduna State. Another prayers is going to hold any moment from now. Is going to be led by a renowned Kaduna-based Islamic scholar, Dr. Ahmad Mahmoud Gumi. People have converged in large number, a reflection of the popularity and acceptability of this political colossus that has caught his niche in the political history of not just Kaduna State but Nigeria. He early is thrown into grief and mourning, talking about the life and legacies he has left behind. He has been a man that has dedicated his life to the emancipation of the Talakawas. He belonged to the Aminu Kano police. Not just in Kaduna State, but in Nigeria as a whole. Therefore, his death is being received with a lot of grief here in Kaduna State and beyond. An ordinary Sultan Bello Mosque is a mosque for Jumat prayers. At a moment like this, people hardly gathered. But because of the acceptability and popularity of this political guru, a lot of number of people have converged here to be this event, talking about paying their respect to this political statesman that has dedicated his entire life talking about the truth, fighting for the truth. He has been uncompromising and unyielding in the quest of ensuring truth always prevail at all times. This is what the man has been known for, and this is the cause for the grief and mourning Kaduna said has been thrown at the moment.
Thank you very much, Maijama, for that update. Now let's take a break now. More reports when we return. Do stay with us.
A scorecard like no other. Government has put in place measures and initiatives principally targeted at youths, women, and the most vulnerable groups in our society. These included broad plan to lift 100 million Nigerians out of poverty in the next 10 years, the creation of 75 billion naira National Youth Investment Fund to provide opportunities for the youths, and the Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Survivor Fund, through which government is A. paying 3-month salaries of the staff of 100,000 micro, small and medium enterprises. B. Paying for the registration of 250,000 businesses at the Corporate Affairs Commission. C. Giving a grant of 30,000 naira to 100,000 artisans and guaranteeing market for the product of traders. These are in addition to many other initiatives such as farmer money, trader money, market money, N-Power, N-Tech, and N-Agro. These and more in spite of a recession and a global pandemic.
that social media is not good or bad, and that it is you who is using it that is either good or bad. Bad social media users spread rumors and fake news without verification. But good social media users stop, verify the information, and reflect before sharing it. Now, are you a good social media user? Stop the spread of fake news. Verify the authenticity of your source for a better Nigeria.
This message is from the National Orientation Agency. Dialogue, empathy, love, and unity. These are vital components of nation building.
For all to be well, we appeal that we should refrain from volatile, provocative, inciting messages and language.
Let's build and not destroy.
Welcome back. Nigeria's recent experience of the NSAS protest and the subsequent hijack by hoodlums to perpetrate mayhem and destruction of national assets, private investments, as well as attacks on police personnel is still generating concerns in many quarters. Abubakar Usman Akwanga reports that guests on NTA's Current Affairs program, Tuesday Live, who discussed the costs of the protests on the economy, lamented and proffered solutions to mitigate the huge losses suffered.
It is established that the attacks on public and private assets and infrastructure, including massive looting of investment in the wake of what was designed to be a peaceful protest against the disbanded SARS, has cost the country a lot, and measures need to be taken to address the immediate and long-term impact.
We are talking of trillions in terms of cost to this economy. And now I think what we need to do, because I think one of the things we should do is focus on the road to recovery. What is to be done now?
Implementing a lot of those plans, that were there already in the economic sustainability plan of 2.3 trillion, which government said they were going to spend in order to reduce the impact of COVID on the economy.
Discussants on NTA Current Affairs program Tuesday Live suggested proactive strategies that will involve the youth in productive ventures, just as they want the empowerment of security agencies and community engagement to rebuild confidence in governance.
75 billion, this is how you're going to assess this billion. If you're having issues, you must create maybe an online platform where if a youth in Damaturu is having an issue right now, he can talk to the Minister of Youth.
We have a lot of challenges, and if we must ensure that policing is robust, that the police will effectively patrol Nigerian space in terms of combating crime, like what we do in other countries.
The losses, which are put at more than 2 trillion naira, they noted, have not only stripped many employed youth of their jobs and working capital, but also affected the growth of businesses and inflow of revenues to meeting contemporary needs.
We shouldn't really see this as a very terrible thing. We can come back to the drawing table, to the negotiating table, to the mediating table, and talk to ourselves. What is wrong in involving a national discussion?
A comprehensive youth data bank, promotion of human rights, regulation of social media platforms, and the injection of funds into the economy. The proposed should be the priorities of government at all levels. In Abuja, Abubakar Usman Akwanga, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the aftermath of infiltration of hoodlums into the NSAS protest has continued to generate discourse among Nigerians. One of such is the roundtable discussions by patriotic movements of Nigeria to make suggestions on some of the ways to prevent further occurrence. Ilyasu Ali Yakubu reports.
This roundtable discussion by the Patriotic Movement of Nigeria is also aimed at identifying some deliverables capable of empowering the Nigerian youth to be part of the vanguard for national development. National Chairman of the Association, Bello Abdul Qadir, said the association is making efforts to solidify the vision of the nation's founding fathers in the direction of building national consensus and empowering patriotic ideals and values among the diverse people, particularly in terms of acute national challenges and social tensions.
We of the PMN believe that it is now time to take stock of the protest movement to underscore why its eruption was so organic and powerful, to ascertain how and why it degenerated into chaos and avoidable violence.
But of course, all of us will agree with me that Nigeria is not deficient in policies. We're not deficient in policies. We're not deficient in laws. But the political will to implement policies.
Speakers at the forum advised the government to prioritize national youth policy that will promote robust engagement with the youth to promote development and reformation.
So mainstreaming, youth empowerment development program means understanding the essence of that bulge and working towards ensuring that the future truly belongs to the youth and their own children.
Ministries should engage issues that affect the youth. Infrastructure should be that will be useful to the youth. It should be more of internet infrastructure than other physical infrastructure we're used to.
The forum promised to engage the government at all times on national pressing issues that will give birth to vibrant and egalitarian society. In Abuja, Ilyasu Ali Yakubu, NTA News.
The Assistant Inspector General of Police, Zone 13, Malam Mohammed, has commenced the process of rebuilding trust and synergy between the police and host communities in the zone. Udo Koronko-Chukwu reports that the AIG visited Nnewi traditional ruler and prominent stakeholders with the message of peace.
IG, while addressing Igwe Kenneth Orizu, says it is imperative that the community assist the police in preventing the reoccurrence of the wanton destruction of public property in the community, as experienced during the protest, noting that if the trend is not stopped, the hoodlums will start attacking members of the community in future.
To the same members of public that they should forgive few police officers who have offended them in one way or the other. As I earlier said, we have great police officers who are very honest, who are living above the board. So the incident of NSAS should not be used to condemn all of us.
The traditional ruler blamed people from other states for the destruction, reiterating that Nnewi people are known for hard work and promised that the community will not allow a repeat of the mayhem. AIG, in company of community leaders who are overseeing the rebuilding of the Central Police Station, Nnewi, inspects the level of work done as well as the damaged area command headquarters. While members of Nnewi Traders Association promised the zone a vehicle to support their work.
The Abuja police station, there is no town, so we are pleading to the police to restore their men back.
AIG Dan Malam pledged a more robust working relationship with the public as policemen once again take charge of the public space. In Oka, Udo Okoronkwo-Chukwu, NTA News.
We now have details of the FEC meeting. Remember, we told you that the Federal Executive Council has formally approved the ratification of the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement signed by Nigeria in July last year. The Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, announced this while briefing journalists after the virtual meeting of the Council. presided over by President Muhammadu Buhari. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports on this and other resolutions adopted towards enhancing safety and security.
It was a joyous moment of remarkable significance for African leaders at the 2019 African Union Summit in Niamey, Niger Republic, as President Muhammadu Buhari formally enlisted Nigeria, Africa's most populous country and largest economy, into the Continental Free Trade Area Agreement. And with the formal ratification of the agreement by the Federal Executive Council, a major breakthrough may have been achieved by the African Union, which sees Nigeria as not only critical but indispensable if the objectives of the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement are to be realized.
The effective date ought to have been July 2020, but as a result of the pandemic, it was postponed to the 1st of January 2021, and all member states were given up to the 5th of December to ratify the agreement. That's precisely what Nigeria did today. So effectively, we hope that by 1st of January 2021, the agreement will come into force.
When fully operational, the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement will be the world's largest free trade area with a potential market of 1.2 billion people and a gross domestic product of $2.5 trillion across member states of the African Union. Information Minister Alai Mohammed also announced the Council's approval of a contract for the procurement, installation and commissioning of 3D dimensional aerodrome as well as approach simulator at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Lagos.
The contract became necessary in view of the increase in the number of personnel who have been recruited and trained for air traffic controllers. And it is important for us to ensure safety in all the 32 aerodromes of the country.
470 million naira is to be expended on the project to be delivered in 6 months. And on roads infrastructure, 62.7 billion naira has been approved by the council for the construction of Kano, Dawakin Tofa, Gorzo, Dai Road in Kano State to be executed in 24 months. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Thank you very much, Adamu. Now, our next port of call is Enugu with Mina as our guide. Over to you, Mina.
Many thanks, Sifoma. Good evening and welcome to Enugu. Following the violent protests that erupted across the country recently, the Enugu State Police Command has begun an orientation initiative aimed at engendering professionalism in the force to provide efficient and effective policing. Chika Ugu reports that the Enugu State Governor, represented by the Secretary to the State Government, Professor Simeon Otoya, declared the event open.
Lives and property, including that of police officers, dampened their morale and made them reluctant to return to their beats. The governor, represented by Professor Simon Otwanya, while expressing deep concern over the attack on police officers and innocent citizens, assured them that the government will offer all necessary support to encourage the police to operate effectively. The secretary to the state government encouraged the police to return to their duty posts and continue the business of securing lives and property and never be daunted by threats from miscreants who have no place in the society.
Enugu State Government and the police have been partners. And you will agree with me whether it is in the provision of vehicles or other assets that will help the police to do their work better.
Director Director, Institute for Peace, Conflict and Development Studies, Enugu State University of Science and Technology, regretted the aggression against the police and called for public orientation in their relationship with security agencies.
We're also doing it because we've seen that the police hierarchy, the police leadership are tuned to ensuring that peace prevails in our society.
The State Commissioner of Police noted that the police will not allow the challenges encountered on the job deter them from living up to their mandate of offering the public the needed protection. The two-day police retreat had in attendance officers from different categories and ranks in the State Police Command. In Enugu, Chika Ugu, NTA News.
Enugu State government has received medical equipment worth thousands of naira from the federal government as part of measures to tackle the dreaded coronavirus in the state. The donation was made by the Office of a Senior Special Assistant to the President on Sustainable Development Goals. Amechi Pius reports.
Like in other parts of the world, government in Nigeria is doubling efforts to check the spread of the dreaded coronavirus. While health experts are working round the clock to come up with vaccines to tackle the menace of COVID-19, government is also leaving nothing to chance to flatten the curve of infected persons. The donation presented by Enugu State Commissioner for Special Duties and Sustainable Development, Balarabe, is part of efforts by the federal government to check the spread of the virus.
Combinance with SDGs Goal 3. Ensure healthy lives, promote well-being for all ages.
Commissioner for Health, Professor Balarabe, received the items which include 100 automated bed, 100 pillows, 12 cartons of face masks, 100 bed lockers on behalf of the State Governor, Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi.
Say a big thank you to His Excellency, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, who has, on behalf of the federal government, in an enabling environment, made these items available today to Enugu State.
In Enugu, Amechi Pius, NTA News.
And that does it from here. It's back to you, Ifoma, in Abuja.
Thank you very much, Mina. Governments, agencies and relevant bodies have been charged to come up with innovation through which science, technology, engineering and mathematics curricula can be taught virtually. Minister of State for Education, Chukwuemeka Nwajuba, said this at the 2020 Annual Education Conference in Abuja. Abdullahi Musa Suleja reports.
It is a common knowledge that Nigeria, like other countries across the globe, is seriously impacted in various ways by COVID-19 pandemic. Education inclusive. According to UNESCO, millions of learners were affected resulting from school closure. To cushion the effect of the pandemic on the sector globally, technological innovation of virtual interaction was increased to replace face-to-face engagement and limit the total disruption to many sectors.
These would include integrated digital learning platforms, video lessons, massive open online courses, and broadcasts through radio and television. The success of these recommendations hinges on the use of high technology or low technology solutions, which are based on the reliability of local power supply, internet connectivity, sustainable curriculum, and digital skills of teachers, students, parents, and caretakers.
It is in view of that, Nigeria's government is seeking ways to upscale the use of this innovation to enhance the sector. Hence, this gathering with the theme, Building an Effective, Resilient and Sustainable Education System for Nigeria during and post-COVID-19 pandemic, the way forward. Papers were presented virtually by different resource persons on how to achieve positive results virtually, occasioned by setback caused by COVID-19. Abdullahi Musa Suleja, NTA News.
Nigerian youths commend federal government empowerment programs. Abdurrahman in Sokoto has more.
Ifoma and welcome to Sokoto.
Sokoto State Government, in collaboration with the Federal Road Safety Co., will establish health posts along major highways to provide easy treatment for victims of traffic crashes. This came to the fore at a press briefing organized by the Federal Road Safety Co. Sokoto Command in commemoration of 2020 African Road Safety Day, observed third Sunday of November every year. Alhatu Abdullahi reports.
It was on 26 October 2005, the United Nations endorsed the World Day of Remembrance for Road Traffic Victims as a global day to be observed in November each year, making it a major advocacy day for road traffic injury prevention. This press briefing, organized by Federal Road Safety Co. in Sokoto, is in commemoration of the World Day of Remembrance for Road Traffic Victims.
When it comes into existence, definitely, our idea of rushing crash victims from the point of crash to the hospitals within the first 15 minutes will be actualized.
Sokoto State Government and the Federal Road Safety Co. will float an ambulance services along major highways for the benefit of road traffic victims.
We have a trauma center situated at Specialist Hospital Sokoto, where the center is giving free medical care for accident victims in the first 24 hours.
Dualization of road project is a clear testimony that the state government is really working hard to enhance the transportation management in Sokoto State.
The week-long celebration is expected to feature visits to hospitals to see victims of traffic crashes, while prayers will be observed in mosques and churches for the repose of the souls of road traffic crashes worldwide. In Sokoto, Alhatu Abdullahi, NTA News.
The Nigerian Youth Investment Fund has been described as a deliberate attempt by the federal government to address challenges of unemployment and boost productivity among youths in the country. Nuratan Koikili reports that this was the position of some youths in Kebbi State who commended President Muhammadu Buhari for the gesture and urged eligible youths to leverage on the opportunity to harness their potentials.
The Nigeria Youth Investment Fund is an initiative of the federal government to respond to youth employment challenges by providing them with the investment impulse required to build successful businesses and become employers of labor. To leverage on the new window of opportunity, youth groups in Kebbi State, with support from the state government, embarked on sensitization and mobilization of youth to register and benefit from the package.
I'm appealing to our teaming youth here in the state to come and register with this program so that they will become self-reliant.
The youths have great opportunity today. It has never happened. This government is quite friendly to the youths.
The Kebbi State government also established registration centers in the 20 local government areas and 4 emirate headquarters, and the State Commissioner for Youth and Sports Development, Gidado Aliyu Khalil, was at one of the registration centers to further encourage the youth.
You want to engage in the business, and the federal government has given you from 250,000 to 3 million. It's your choice according to the type of business you want to do.
The commissioner said eligible youth from Kebbi State will be registered free of charge, as the state government has made adequate arrangements to cater for that. Other relevant stakeholders commended President Muhammadu Buhari for the initiative and Kebbi State government for providing an enabling environment for youth to be enrolled. Nuratan Kwakili, NTA News.
That's it from here. Nationwide continues in Jos with Zenret after the break.
The counsel of our fathers.
I will urge and advise our younger generation to use talent and brain to sort out problems, not arms.
Nigerian youths, let's build our nation together.
My name is Nando Jamda Muhammad.
Hussein Musa.
I'm a carpenter. I've been doing this for more than 8 years now.
And I said that plantain, nakai kimami shekara uku.
I've been selling my tomatoes for about 10 years now, and I do it for a better Nigeria.
And I do it for a better Nigeria.
And you can see how we are doing our small little work to make Nigeria great.
As you can see, I'm a technician and I'm doing it to help myself and to help my generation.
Business.
This message is from the National Orientation Agency.
NTA News 24. A 24-hour news station brings to you news and happenings 7 days a week.
News at 10 a.m., news update at 11 and 1 p.m.
News desk at 3 p.m. and 6 p.m. and late evening news at 11 p.m.
Follow us on any of our platforms and keep abreast of events and current affairs within and outside our shows.
We are on DSTV channel 419, GoTV channel 46,
Star Times channel 101 and Free TV channel 703.
Join us.
All fake, unverified, doctored and manufactured to create confusion, stir disaffection and cause disunity. Before you believe or share any news, ask yourself, is this real? Is it from a credible source? Is it verified or verifiable? Fake news is dangerous. Whether you do it for fun or for political gains, real people can get hurt. Fake news, don't create it, don't spread it.
This is a public service announcement from NTA.
For staying with us and welcome to Jos. There are high hopes that Plateau State is on its way to recording a breakthrough in the COVID-19 cure with formulation of a herbal drug now at its pre-testing level. Chairman of the Plateau State COVID-19 research team, Professor Noel Wonang, who disclosed this when presenting an interim report to Governor Simon Lalong, said the task is arduous, but the team remains undaunted to deliver. Priscilla Grumlan reports that the event held at the Government House, Vayfield, Jos.
4 months after the 13-man research team was inaugurated, the team presented a preliminary report to the state government on the journey so far to the search for herbal remedies for the treatment and cure of COVID-19. The research team disclosed that 4 different herbal remedies formulated from locally sourced herbs found on the plateau have been administered on 16 confirmed COVID-19 positive patients.
We have downloaded on 16 patients that have collected our drugs, COVID-19 confirmed positive cases, used our drugs, and as at today that I'm talking this morning, 11 of them are COVID negative.
Governor Simon Lalong expressed happiness at the level of achievements made, saying it is a plus to the state and country at large, while laying emphasis on the need for Nigerians to look inwards for home-based solutions. He pledged to take up some of the limitations raised by the research team.
I will create the opportunity for you to make this presentation, not only to PTF, but to all the governors forum. Not only that, let me also tell you that on my own, I will take copies of this and everything you have done, and I will personally present it to the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Members of the State Executive Council commended the research team for a job well done, saying this will project the state positively on the international scene. In Jos, Priscilla Grumnan, NTA News.
Executive Secretary of the Nigerian Christian Pilgrims Commission, Reverend Yakubu Pam, has appealed for peace and calm in the state as government is leaving nothing to chance in ensuring that law and order is maintained in the state. Reverend Pam was speaking during a visit to some sites destroyed by hoodlums who hijacked the NSAS protest. Abba Bubakar Yakubu reports.
Reverend Yakubu Pam, who was accompanied on the visit by Chairman of Riom and Jos South Local Government Councils and also the Secretary of Jos North Local Government, visited the School of Home Economics in Riom Local Government, NEMA Office and Puwasa to ascertain the level of destruction. Other places visited were the PADP headquarters as well as the Jos residence of the former Speaker of the House of Representatives, Yakubu Dogara, all looted and vandalized by hoodlums. The Executive Secretary, who expressed displeasure at the level of destruction, said it was uncalled for.
This is evil. It has drawn our government backward. And people should stop looking at things that are in government offices as it's only belonging to a governor or to a chairman of a local government. This property belongs to our children. And if we know that this belongs to us, we will protect it.
He, however, commended the government, security agencies, traditional and community leaders for their swift response towards the restoration of peace in the state. Management Committee Chairman of Jos North and Jos South appreciated Reverend Pam for the visit, promising to do all within their power to sustain peace in the areas. In Jos, Abba Abubakar Yakubu, NTA News.
That's it from Jos. It's back to Ifoma in Abuja for what's left of Nationwide.
Thank you very much, Zinret. The appreciable level of peace experienced in the Edo and Ondo governorship elections is largely attributable to the role played by the media. Acting chairman of INEC, Ahmad Moazu, said this in a meeting with the media in Abuja. Mayor Ogidi reports.
This is where opinions are shaped, and for the electronic media, visuals available to back up. He who tells the story gets more facts and feedback. Those in control of the tiny pen fed millions during the Edo and Ondo governorship elections, and today having talks with INEC to advise for better performance.
The Edo and Ondo elections, the Commission must place on record, among other things, the tireless and sustained campaign by the media against electoral violence. The media not only kept the imperative of peaceful elections in the front burner, it also kept the spotlight on all political parties and their candidates throughout these elections.
INEC must at all times ensure that the votes of the people continue to count during elections. For us in the media, we will always give the necessary support.
Observations on the online portal and possible date for the conduct of outstanding 15 by-elections were part of the content of the agenda. Please, let's always be aware of fake news, because the pen, when wrongly used, can be more destructive than the gun, the INEC National Commissioners advised. Mayor Ogidi, NTA News.
The annual forum of the Tertiary Education Trust Fund, TETFund, and Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS, is fathoming ways to improve the effective utilization of the 2% education tax. The forum is also exploring the possibility of the tax upward review to 5% amid the global health crisis of COVID-19. Chidebere Onya reports that the event held in Port Harcourt.
Chairman, Board of Trustees, Kashim Imam, and Executive Secretary, TETFund, Professor Suleiman Bogoru, who was represented, took turns to highlight the impact of the intervention agency in the nation's tertiary institutions. They noted that the forum is aimed at ensuring sustainable level of interaction between officials of TETFund and Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS, towards the enhancement of education tax collection, among other issues.
If you go around the university campuses, and I've been saying so to all the vice chancellors, they should just rename their universities TETFund University, because every single project on campus is bearing the TETFund logo.
Here we are able to pick out the details, the nitty-gritties of issues that affect the collection of the EDT.
Director FIRS, Mr. Ezra Zuberu, who stood in for the chairman, commended TETFund for efficient disbursement of the 2% education fund for the development of tertiary education in the country.
We, the service, will be working assiduously in tandem with TETFund to ensure that all the laudable objectives of TETFund are realized.
Participants suggested effective means of collection and utilization of education tax and an upward review of the tax from 2 to 5%. This year's TETFund FIRS Joint Interactive Forum theme is New Trust in Sustaining the Education Tax Collection during COVID-19 pandemic for effective service delivery of the mandate of the fund. In Port Harcourt, Chidiebere Onya, NTA News.
Nigeria as a country may not have achieved the desired level of self-sufficiency in science and technology. Nonetheless, relevant authorities say the country is making frantic efforts more than ever before to maximally harness its scientific capacities for development. This is as the world marks yet another Science Day for Peace and Development that aims to ensure that citizens are kept informed of developments in science. Justin Bem-Unyi reports.
The impact of globalization is considerably driven by breakthrough in multiple development areas and national economies in science and technology. According to experts, science explains humanity's understanding of the natural world, while technology discusses the ability to manipulate the natural world. And this is why they say science and technology play an exceedingly prominent role in the world. By linking science closely with society, the World Science Day at this time, where there is a global struggle with COVID-19, has its focus on science for and with society. But what is Nigeria's competence in the science and technology sector as regards response to emerging challenges in the society?
Because of the prioritization of STI, that is Science, Technology and Innovation, the ministry has been made part of the National Steering Committee of the National Development Plan, so as to incorporate the current Science, Technology and Innovation Roadmap 2017-2030 into the main agenda 2050.
Nigeria has developed the National Science, Technology and Innovation Roadmap 2017 to 2030, targeted at mobilizing the nation's intellectual resources for growth and diversification of the economy. Justin Bem-Unyi, NTA News.
The Niger State High Court 3 has closed the pre-trial conference and slated the 16th and 17th of December this year for the commencement of hearing the substantive matter in the case of alleged criminal conspiracy, breach of trust and conversion of more than 4 billion naira belonging to the state government. Mukhtar Abubakar Wowo reports that the case is involving the former governor of the state, Dr. Muazu Babangida Aliyu, the former state PDP chairman, Tanko Beji, and Umar Mohammed Nasco, who are standing trial since 2017 on an amended 7-count charge.
The conference, counsel to the third respondent, Umar Mohammed Nasco, challenged the competence of the charges against his client, which was determined in negative, favoring the prosecution, the EFCC.
If we find out there's a novel point of law we need to develop, help the law to develop, there's nothing wrong in helping the law to develop. But for now, I am not telling you we're going to appeal or not.
Justice Abdullahi Mikaila, who was elevated to preside over the Niger State High Court 3 from his former Court 4 following the retirement of the former Chief Judge of the state, said he closed the pre-trial in the absence of any pending application in accordance with the state's practice direction. Justice Abdullahi Mikaila then slated the 16th and 17th of December this year for the commencement of hearing the substantive case. The threesome defendants, Dr. Muazu Babangida Aliyu, Tanko Beji, and Umar Mohammed Nasco, were first arraigned in 2017 and subsequently re-arraigned before 2 other judges following the reassignment of the case for some judicial reasons. In Mina, Mukhtar Abubakar, NTA News.
A desire to promote the wholesome development of Nigeria by promoting good governance has been the pursuit of government agencies like the Presidential Advisory Committee Against Corruption. This time, the committee is incorporating the youth in its advocacy against corruption and bad behavior. Olabode Arewa has more.
Corruption has been a word on the lips of many Nigerians, young and old. However, many citizens still see corrupt acts as peculiar to government agencies alone. This dialogue, organized by the Presidential Advisory Committee Against Corruption, focuses on the important role the youth could play in its eradication. Speakers at the forum noted that behavioral change is possible if everyone decides to adopt good ethical conduct in public and private life.
So the starting point is search your soul, search yourself, search your conscience. What is it that you are doing that is harming yourself, your family, your society, your community, the nation at large? By the time we begin to change ourselves for the better, we are likely to have a better society.
Almost everybody who was born after 1980, we are talking about now people who are 40 and below, are not aware of the values of integrity, of honesty.
The success of the federal government's whistleblower policy also came up for commendation and appraisal on how to make it more efficient.
Anger is not a strategy. You must participate, you must organize, you must participate, and then you must also be involved in implementation monitoring.
The forum resolved that government's use of role models to drive its fight against financial crime would also be intensified to drive home the message. In Abuja, Olabode Arewa, NTA News.
And that concludes Nationwide for today. We thank you indeed for being part of our production. Remember, you can be a star. Connect with the NTA. Stand against rape and rapists. Bye for now.